You're welcome to this news hour. I am Badley Jonathan. We're broadcasting from Cameroon's economic capital, dwelling at top stories in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. The Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, PCC, reviews another side of the August 22, 2021 PCC in Tanfuang Balinyonga shooting. During the service reopening the Temple of God after it was shut down, authorities of the church revealed that the bullet that killed a Christian and wounded the parish pastor came from guns of elements of the National Armed Forces. And a Cameroon-born attorney and counselor law in New York, United States of America, human rights defender Barrister Innocent Akufo says that justice cannot be achieved through the bullet, referring to the military strategy being implemented by the government of the Republic of Cameroon to put an end to cessationist activities in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Stay with us. The Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, PCC, has now said that the bullets that killed a Christian and wounded the parish pastor of PCC in Tanfuang in the Balinyonga subdivision, Mezam Division, northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, came from guns of elements of the National Armed Forces. This information emerged during the service reopening the Temple of God after it was shut down following that incident. Manjikan gave a report.
Many Christians answered present at the Presbyterian Church in Tanfuang, Bali, this Sunday as the main church house was reopened. The divine service happening at the main church comes a month plus some weeks after the shooting that occurred in the church premises on August 22, 2021. In the course of the incident, a Christian, Grace Titalabit, was caught by a bullet which took her to the grave, and the parish pastor, Voma Simon Manto, is still healing from the injuries he sustained. The special church service brought together all pastors within Bali, and it began with the cleansing of the main church house by the reverend pastors, beginning outside and later inside. In the course of the church service, the presbytery chairman, while reading a letter from the parish pastor, Voma Simon Manto, who wasn't present, made a startling declaration.
Go out for treatment since my health began to deteriorate too fast after being shot by the military, during which our sister, Mrs. Novi Grace, was shot by the same military and she died right in the church.
According to the presbytery chairman, the Presbyterian secretary, Pastor Voma Simon Manto, who is still on his sick bed, urges his Christian to continue praying for peace to return to the country. Apart from cleansing the church house, it was also an occasion for the clergymen to rededicate the church which was desecrated by the shooting. At the end of the church service, the faithfuls who turned out were hopeful that a new dawn has started at PC in Tanfuang, Bali.
The message on this day was to remind the Christian that God still loves us and that we shall abandon all types of evil sacrifices and idol worship. We should not be running away from Him, but we should turn to Him because He remains the God of love.
With another side of the case of the shooting in the church house reopened, a reaction is expected from the Defense Ministry, which after the incident accused separatist fighters to be at the origin of the incident.
Cameroon-born attorney and counselor at law in New York, United States of America, human rights defender Barrister Innocent Akufo thinks that it is time the Cameroon government engages negotiations or renegotiations as far as the existence of the former East and West Cameroons is concerned, and this is the only way out of the troubled waters in the northwest and southwest regions, according to him. He says that justice cannot be achieved through the bullet. Listen to him.
If you cannot deliver the goods to the people, then you cannot seek justice through your failed promises. So the best thing at this moment is to renegotiate the terms of the existence, and you talk to the right people. Even those boys, the children carrying the guns, they have asserted their right to be free, and they would be free. So no matter what you do to them, no matter what you do, they would not just lay those arms down. Not that we want fight. We want this fight to continue. We want peace. But it has to be a peace that's negotiated on a peaceful term by the people, the belligerents, not friends. You don't make peace with your friend. You make peace with your enemy, if you can call them your enemy. But those are the people, they have their point.
And speaking to the weekly news magazine program on Equinoxe television, The Insight, Barrister Ninimba Innocent Akufo went further to say that the world's resources are enough for everyone to live happily without these conflicts. Listen to him. Barrister Ninimba Innocent Akufo speaking to The Insight and analyzing the conflicts not only in the Republic of Cameroon but in other parts of the African continent and the rest of the world, and saying that if not or without people who think that they can acquire everything for themselves, in the absence of this mindset, there will be no conflicts, there will be no fighting like what is happening today in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, because in his opinion, the world resources are enough for everyone to live happily without having to trample on the rights of others. He spoke to The Insight.
The Santa Coffee Estate. I knew my sister, my elder sister, used to work there, and as a child, we would go there, when we have on vacation, we would go there, and there was water flowing in that place. There was electricity. You had coffee made in Santa that was existing. These are things that we always reflect on. We look at that nostalgia. It's gone. It's gone not because we, the people, were lazy. It's gone not because the land is no longer there. It's gone because you had people that you entrusted with power and authority, and they let you people down. And that's exactly what has happened to that particular coffee estate. So if you look at the beauty of the world, as I mentioned, the snow caps, the streaking suns, and here in Bahia, where I am right now in Brazil, you look at Pernambuco, you look at all those Recife, those are beautiful places. These are places that God's children should live in harmony and not in war, because the resources of the earth, what God has adorned this beautiful world in which we live, it's something that can feed all of mankind, and we would not go destitute. But if you have people who live by greed and avarice, they want excesses because they think they have to own it all, then that is the problem we have. We want harmony with the environment. We want harmony with neighbors. We want harmony with our souls itself. If you go from that point, all the guns of war will be silenced, all the ammunition will be buried, and all we would sow is peace.
And in the midst of the worsening conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic, a pregnant woman said to have been a partner of one of the leading separatists or non-state armed group fighters in the name of General No PT is in detention in the southwest region of the country. She was arrested in connection to the crisis, and a human rights lawyer, Barrister Ewule Edward, has taken the matter to court. We'll be bringing to you more details on this in the second part of this newscast. Another pregnant woman has been missing for close to 4 months today. She is a 28-year-old young woman who was living in Japoma in the Douala 3 subdivision. Equinoxe television went investigating, and Mala Glory compiled this story.
This 28-year-old lady has been missing for over 4 months in the Japoma neighborhood of the Douala 3 subdivision. The pregnant Vanessa was last seen going to the hospital for delivery in the company of her fiancé, Beda Benjamin, who on the way left her to collect her emergency bag from home. Efforts to reach the woman and her unborn from that day till date have been fruitless, according to her fiancé and her mother.
Il m'appelle pour me demander. J'ai dit que mais tu me demandes si elle est arrivée ici. Quand il a eu les contractions.
He called me asking me if my daughter is with me. Then I said, how can you ask me that? When she was in labor last night, you didn't call me, her mother, to be with her. How can you take her to the hospital alone? Carrying all those transactions without informing me. It is not done that way.
Elle est où maintenant? Il dit qu'il ne connaît pas. Depuis là, il appelle sur son téléphone, ça ne passe pas.
After her disappearance, some letters were discovered in Vanessa's family compound by her mother without the sender's address. One of them, according to her, says Vanessa has been delivered of a baby boy and her condition is critical.
Qui parlait qu'on a seulement kidnappé.
One of the letters said, my daughter has been kidnapped by her two in-laws, and the second was picked up early in the morning.
C'était toujours un matin.
The young lady's family accuses Beda Benjamin of knowing the whereabouts of their daughter and immediately reported to the police.
À la police qui est censée.
The police, who is expected to give us information, instead asked us to leave the office. We had to leave.
Ça c'est à la PJ.
The young man on his part thinks his in-laws are keeping their daughter in a way to force him into paying the girl's bride price. In an interview with him, who refused to be physically identified, says he is innocent of the accusations levied on him. This because he loved his wife and will not wish her any harm. Vanessa's mother, on the other hand, prays to see her only daughter and grandson as investigations are in progress.
The bad state of roads running across several parts of the Republic of Cameroon, from the big cities to the hinterlands, sends inhabitants of Bonkena Bonao village in the Mongo division to the streets. They are protesting and they have vowed to paralyze all economic activities until government comes to their aid as far as their roads are concerned. Details in this report compiled by Charles Ekome.
The stretch of road linking the town of Lum to the locality of Bonkeng Bonaho in the Mungu division of the Littoral region is practically impassable. The heavy rains have contributed to degrade the roads, making life a nightmare for the locals, especially for those involved in the sale and cultivation of agri-products who depend on this road for the transportation of their goods and services. More to that, the transportation fare has increased from 300 francs to 1,000 francs CFA for just 1 kilometer of traveling. To express their discontentment, the inhabitants of Bonkeng Bonaho have barricaded part of the road in order to paralyze traffic. All we want is that the roads be repaired. If someone wants to go to the market, he or she should be able to go in peace. Before, commercial bike riders used to charge us 100 to 200 francs for short distances, but today we pay 1,000 francs CFA. We have decided to protest today because we are fed up. We carry our dead ones on our heads just because of the bad state of the roads. Since Friday, we have already transported 2 corpses on our heads. The divisional officer for Lum, Pascal Zoua, descended to the field to appease the infuriated population and pleaded with them to remove the barricades on the road while promising to convey their worries to the competent authorities. Let's be patient. I promise you all that this situation will soon be under control. The Cameroonian government will know of your worries and problems because my collaborators and I will not stop reminding them of your problems. At the moment, the inhabitants of the above-mentioned localities wish that the government should initialize a project for immediate road construction works to begin on this stretch of road.
And that's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in this edition of Talking point, we are receiving a human rights defender, civil society activist, Dewum Emmanuel. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bavela. And greetings to all the viewers of Equinoxe TV.
Right, we are talking about a young woman who has been arrested and is in detention in the southwest region of the country within the context of the 5-year-long armed conflict going on there, and she's said to have been a partner of one of the leading non-state armed fighters known as General No PT, and she's been arrested in connection to these. What do you think about this arrest and detention of a pregnant woman?
I want to start first by saying that it is, to me, I don't want to look at it squarely from the point of law, but I want to look at it from the point of human nature and human feeling. That one, she is a pregnant woman. That two, she's been punished for a crime that she is not the one who committed it. Being the wife, I don't see how being the wife to a separatist fighter makes you a separatist fighter. It only comes to add to what happened a year ago. I think it was with the mother and the sister of Mark Barretta. And that is a clear indication that this government in place is not ready to solve the war. Because it appears that each time they discover that things are quelling down, they look for a way to provoke it. You will not tell me that the Cameroon military does not know where to track General No PT. They know. But they go for the soft target, which is their wife, and it is regrettable. Of course, we have the penal code in Cameroon. As a good citizen, we are supposed to glance through it and see what the law says about somebody who is an accomplice to a crime and the person who is the principal actor or perpetrator of the crime. And in this case, it was long abolished that somebody pays the price for a crime committed by another person. So it's a comedy.
And she has been in detention for several days now, and her legal mind, Barrister Ewule Edward, has now taken the matter to court, demanding that
first
the
of all,
lady Antoinette should be produced, should be presented.
Let me thank Barrister Ewule Edward. I know personally we have shared many good times together, and to also say that he is doing the right thing. Remember that he's the one who raised up the case of Wazizi when Wazizi disappeared. In fact, we loved his initiative. But Babila Jonathan, there's something we needed to look here in the context of law. You will discover that, let me just give you a brief analysis to tell you that what is happening there to the power that be means absolutely nothing. Because the Cameroon government have sold shame and buy disgrace. Pa Aya Apo Abine, a man of his caliber, was arrested on a Saturday and detained. Habeas corpus every month, and he was maintained.
A Supreme Court magistrate at the time.
Supreme Court magistrate at the time. You saw how Professor Maurice Kamto was arrested and detained. No force or push of the habeas corpus yielded any fruit. You saw in this country how Mancho BBC, Penn Terence, of course, your colleagues, were arrested. Everything was done. And you see, what really baffles us who are on the field is the fact that the laws of Cameroon are applied selectively. If you look at what has happened in Cameroon of recent, with the reorganization of the CBDM basic organs, on which they were supposed to go and select the next people, they went and ended up selecting fighters, boxers. Senators became boxers. You saw how the SDO's office or house went into flames. You saw how routes were blocked. and nothing has been done about it. The hierarchy did not come out. You saw how the Janam, the police people, were negotiating, begging. We show that we are in a country where the law is applied selectively. If these roadblocks were in the southwest, I don't want to complete what would have happened. If the burning of the SDO's house was in southwest or northwest, I don't want to complain the rest. Then you discover that when you look at this conflict, we thought it was a moment for the government to take stock of the failure of 39 years of CBDM regime. But we have discovered that the Anglophones continues negotiating an existence that does not exist. So the only voice we have now is we are asking God, can you see us? Because it seems like what God has put asunder, let no man try to put it together. We are not seeing it like that.
All right. Another side of the August 22, 2021 BCC Ntanfuang shooting comes up during the service reopening the temple that was shut down after that incident. And authorities of the church are now coming out clear and saying that the bullets that killed a Christian
came from
and
the military,
wounded the parish pastor, came from the guns of elements of the National Armed Forces.
Yes, it is good, and I am sure that the military communication boss, which is Mr. Atonfak, should be watching the news today. And if he still has a heart, he should go down on his knees in the public and beg for forgiveness. He has done it too much. The lies have been too much. Remember that the government came up with a communique stating it clear that it were the Amber Boys, and that the military was coming for backup to protect the people. But today you get it from the horse's mouth that I am back today live, thanks to God who made me, because the bullet that took me came from the military. You are not the one saying it, Babila. I am not the one saying it. Equinoxe is not the one saying it. We saw it, we heard it from the horse's mouth.
Coming from the
and a country like Cameroon cannot be built in lies for 39 years. It is life has become so useless and meaningless in Cameroon that people gain their promotion through the lies telling on the blood of innocent people who have nothing to do with politics, and that is regrettable.
Right, at the end of the report of Smanjikan Gabriel, he indicated that it is expected that the Ministry of Defense will come up to be able to explain to Cameroonians what is said earlier, and this other information coming from those who were there and those who witnessed the shooting. Now we are wrapping up. We have just some few minutes to go. Barrister Neneba says that justice cannot be obtained through the bullet. It is time to renegotiate the terms of existence of the two parts of Cameroon that existed before the reunification.
Yes, I once told you that bullets kill, bullets don't talk. But the mouth, they negotiate, the mouth talk. There is no way, and I'm telling the viewers of Equinoxe this evening, remain witnesses to this crisis. The government is fighting a war that is unwinnable. The only thing is they should use the genuine voice. There is no way out of it.
All right. Thank you very much, Ndiwum Emmanuel. You're a teacher, civil society activist, human rights defender. Thank you for your time.
It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today. Coming up live from Cameroon's political capital, La Presse. It's a dispute. And after that, Equinoxe. Stay with us.